Hello, hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Better Humans at Work. I am thrilled to be joined by Liv Macedo, a dynamic people strategy leader with 23 years of experience. Livia is partnered with Fortune 100 and 500 companies, tackling specialized talent challenges during critical growth phases. Her expertise in clinical, educational, and organizational psychology allows her to create innovative and evidence-based solutions for regulated markets and cross-functional teams. Livia's passion for enabling others' career aspirations drives her both professionally and personally. Based here in Pittsburgh, PA with me, which I love. She's also served her local government here in Pittsburgh as an elected board member for 4 years and is an active member of the Pittsburgh Hispanic Developmental Center and a co-founder of the Brazilian Association in Pittsburgh, now part of the PHDC. A dedicated mom of two daughters in STEM, Livia's blend of professional acumen and personal dedication makes her an invaluable asset to any leadership team. Thank you for joining us here today, Liv.
Thanks for having me, Dr. V.
We're so thrilled to talk about human-centric HR. Before we get into that, you are founder of Liv HR Consulting. What is Liv HR Consulting? What do y'all do? What's your specialty? What lights you up?
Thank you. So Liv HR Consulting is the epic piece, I think, of the accumulative experience I had across multiple segments within how create better settings and workplaces and relationships across several expertise, like in disciplines within psychology. So I started with clinical, did research, moved to organizational psychology, right, and had some social public policy as well experience. So uh, Liv HR is the accumulation of all my experience with a targeted advice on what companies who are really committed to creating better workplaces. So we provide a series of services as far as HR transformation. So coaching HR leaders on guiding through supporting the organization in critical initiatives, also creating a path forward to organizations to become SBOs, as skill-based organizations, looking at the core of what is the nature of work, what are the skills, how to create like smart and nimble job families and competency modeling, and how to tie that to the very exciting landscape of HR technology available to leaders these days to really have that red thread from job post, onboarding, and all the cycles within the employee experience.
So, what would be like a dream project? What would be like the ideal project for you to take on?
So think about an HR department that has been just like multiple leaders shifting, right? You know how the musical chairs of HR leaders has been not something easy for companies, internal partners to deal with, but also vendors. The move and groove of the HR field has not slowed down. I would say until like 2020 to 2023 were really hot years for HR hiring. It has been slow since 2023, going now into 2025 with companies seriously committing their path forward related to what is their strategy around HR, AI, how does the legacy strategy for human resources fit within the changes in the business. You do need a chef, somebody that can guide a team on upskilling behaviors such as how to provide advisory skills to specific areas of technology where the temperature has been risen and pressure is on. Also to not go into really like before making decisions, thinking through what is the right infrastructure we need in order to continue to make work smarter, not harder, and really set up a team that really will help this organization in the mid and long term. So we come in, we provide a diagnostic conversation, we provide a path forward, and there's not one solution that will fit every organization, but we're looking at a trend of organizations really taking an inner look at their HR skills and looking at how they can improve the readiness for the HR team and team members to support each other and really become the strategic leaders that HR is is the business need HR to be.
Yeah. And I was really excited about the theme of today's Better Humans at Work, which is human-centric HR. And HR stands for human resources. So, like, why isn't HR more human-centric as it presently stands?
Um, well, it's for me, it's a matter of strategy. It's a matter of having a people strategy in place that really resonates with the business. That friction in between having legacy HR programs where the business is going is where careers, engagement, retention, attraction falls through the crack. So if you have a people strategy aligned with your business strategy, you will prevent a lot of headaches, not only for the HR team, but also for people, business expecting and leveraging HR services that really fit their needs, right? With strategy, which is not operational excellence, right? We know that its strategy comes with compromise. So historically, you will think that an excellent talent management department will have all the greatest and latest trends in talent management. That is not the case, Dr. B. So I'm seeing more and more. It started even before 2020. HR teams becoming more lean, and now with the advent of AI, and how to advise the company not to switch budget from very strategic human-based initiatives to things that are just the flavor of the month, without some proper thinking and what is the cost of the switching cost of those programmatic decisions. It requires more critical thinking. It requires more data-driven decisions, and requires us to understand that behind the human, there's a lot of solid business skills and collaboration and stepping back and talking the language of the business in order to redesign your portfolio of HR offerings that really address the why. Why do we need to redesign the onboarding experience? Bring the data. And every 3 months, it's not your baby, right? Shouldn't be HR's it's responsibility, but it's always co-shared with IT, it's always co-shared with uh, learning, it's always co-shared with the business, the production leaders and operational leaders as well. So having the diligence every 3 months minimum to reassess how the HR programs and overall strategies really support accelerating the improvement of human experience within the teams, and what are the critical imperative decisions that leaders must do in order to not keep going back. So I'm a big, big advocate of a programmatic approach to first, so then later you can harvest the engagement, the relationships, the retention, and last attrition.
So you mentioned AI, and in preparation for this talk, I asked ChatGPT what it means to be human, right? And because we're
What
talking about
about
human-centric HR, and what they said was it's four things. It's seeking connection, so we find purpose and
mm-hmm.
fulfillment through relationships, empathy, and a sense of belonging. Two, pursue meaning and growth, so humans are driven to seek purpose and evolve, learning from experiences and striving to improve. Three, experience deep emotion and self awareness. We feel a range of emotions and reflect on our thoughts and actions, which then shapes our inner and outer lives. And then four, face mortality with creativity and legacy. So, awareness of our own mortality inspires creativity, resilience, and a desire to leave a meaningful impact on the world.
Yeah.
And even though I know this is imperfect, right? It's ChatGPT. I thought it was really insightful to think about, what we could be doing as HR professionals to create a more human-centric experience when it comes to how HR operates. How do
Yeah.
we build HR programs that are rooted in empathy and meaning and, leaves this room and space for emotion and self-awareness and also this I know it says face mortality, but like knowing that we're not going to probably stay in an organization the whole time,
No, we have to be ready
regardless.
to move
So
on.
what's
Yeah.
the legacy we're going to leave behind when we move on to the next big thing, right? And so I was curious, like your reaction to what ChatGPT said when it comes
I
to
know
what makes
when
us
you sent me that list, and I really laughed at it because it was like Livia 2010 will probably be all over this. But reality, I don't say I'm jaded, but I want to say I'm more realistic about what it would take to get there. So I think what you're describing and the answers that you provided are the destination, right? That's the end in mind. But what I'm seeing over and over is that good intentions oftentimes do not fulfill their promises because of not the readiness that it would take to become human when we are a collective engine and needs to operate and and provide each other the meaning, that sense of belonging and the sense of direction and clarity. Just too many teams I've seen fall apart because the nature of the work was never really assessed. As the amount of change that's happening right now feels like battle trenches right now. So companies and teams have been asked to do more with less, but now they, with the advent of AI, I say it because it will change several things. And in my view, companies will soon, just like you mentioned, DEI, and how, some people, companies they're choosing for, are they incorporating DEI with their strategy, or they're just completely walking away. And then to your point, I think is super valid is that the competitors will say thank you. So let's see, that's a hypothesis as well. Same thing with the human-centered workplace and the role of AI. Soon it will be very clear if companies are choosing what path. Do you want humans to, you know, be replaced by AI and what that will look like? And investments in HR, values-based work, motivation-based work, training, upskilling will decrease. And we'll see a really tremendous investment in AI related projects, even if the ROI is not there, which everybody's now. I think I get an AI ROI calculator for talent programs every week, so I can see the movement and the excitement in the market for really coming up with a much more measured approach to what are the things that are being put in place, and is it going to hurt our evolution towards a more human centric workplace, or is it going to hurt us? And I think HR plays a huge role in flagging that before anybody else. So for that, you need people analytics. For that, you have to compromise what are you going to be focusing on. Really be keen in listening to the voice of the employee and the business. So we are the translators, Dr. V. So right now, companies feel like the Babel Tower, everybody's speaking a different language. We are the translators. We have to decode what does it mean for people. We have to decode implications of those decisions to people and really hold leaders accountable for the path forward. So I feel like the temperature and the responsibility for HR has been taking significant increase in responsibility and accountability since the evolution of since COVID, and later now the technology advancements we have in the workplace. So, but I am all for the ChatGPT answers, and but I think that's the destination. We cannot lose track of that. But the reality of somebody seeing an HR leadership role right now, it is a little bit more. I say it's tough because while budget might be accommodating for several programs, leaders will be held accountable for why have we kept going with this job rotations, meaning that we lost 60% of the people participating in a job rotation. It's expensive. Job rotation includes moving people across regions, includes compensation packages, includes the stress of the switching cost of team members that lost that great leader to accommodate somebody else. It changes the dynamic of several teams. So what's the ROI of that job rotation? So I keep bringing back to the not so sexy reality that HR leaders are now, in order to get to that very attractive, transformative, positive, inspiring, human-centric workplace, and they need to be now the ones rebuilding that infrastructure. So right now you see efforts in bringing technology, which sometimes blinds us from the end in mind that you brought it up. That's a pet peeve for me. Not only the budget dedicated to HR tech, and not enough care about hiring better people. Like, you know, assessments have been around for so long. You know, we know the role that motivation has in, really developing high performing teams. So all the things that before COVID were like no brainers, I felt like we went backwards in that regards because budget went to HR tech, which I'm a favor. I'm an advocate. You know, we have to learn how to develop, how to hire them and curate them and implement them efficiently. But to me, it was a too much of a pendulum going to HR tech investments and not enough efforts in leadership development and assessments for readiness, right? And also looking at other layers that are not just training. I'm a training preacher. I'm an assessment preacher, so I'm biased. You can say that. But over the years, like it's not again, I'm not jaded, but or a skeptic. But you can see how, depending on people's intrinsic motivation towards being part of the group or doing that type of work, all the investments related to training, related to job rotations, and all this fancy check the box kind of talent initiatives don't go anywhere. So I think the shifts, the big tsunamis, and the headwinds we faced since the 2020, in manufacturing that started actually before 2020 with significant amount of people retiring in manufacturing sectors. But now the headwinds, we have to learn from those headwinds, and we need to ask ourselves and our HR peers to play the role, of that translator, to play the role of holding leaders accountable for making business decisions that will in fact lead to better human-centered workplaces. I don't think people are questioning the why. Who doesn't want a human-centered workplace? But the decisions in the path forward will tell us, this company, they're moving towards less human as possible, more technology, less humans, and the budget will reflect that, and the talent initiatives will reflect that, versus other companies that they see people really at first and at the center of their model, and the investments will go all the way back into talent. So I think the differences will be clear in the next coming years.
So, what I'm hearing is for HR professionals to truly create a human centric workplace, we need the right systems and structures in place, which seems
Mhm.
counterintuitive, right? Because the
Exactly.
system and structures seem not the not human side, but then that enables us to have the human centric aspects that I mentioned earlier.
100%.
So, we need
Oh, yeah.
systems and structures. We
Mhm.
need translation. That's
Mhm.
key. HR are the translators between the business and the humans in the workplace. And then C, we need accountability, leadership
Encourage.
accountability, make sure
Yeah.
that we're actually holding true these values so people can operate in the way that they can most thrive, which is what we're trying to get at. What we're trying to get at.
I would just add courage over courage will help a lot of leaders that are feeling in a position where they're going to say things and present messages that are not going to be well received. I'm going to stay with the saying from Claire Hugh Johnson from, she had a very nice book released in 2023 called Scaling People, and she say the thing you think you cannot say. Um, Trust your experience in HR, and trust that you are probably going to be the one hearing from people more where the company is going faster than operational leaders that have their heads in different places and different perspectives. So really having the accountability and the courage to call out where the company is going. I feel like this is more effective than a lot of surveys. So many surveys and investments in those things that are just check the box. I think we're going to see a change that in moving in the coming years, because people are going to be really in tune to what's working, what's helping me retain and preserve the culture of my team, and what kind of leader this company needs. You know, so I think that's going to be a clear message, and I'm excited to be part of that and partner with amazing leaders in HR that are joining in this front.
Well, they're lucky to partner with you. Now, Liv, how can people reach out to you if they want to get in touch?
Yes, right now, simple. Liv Macedo, first and last name, at livhrconsulting.com. And I appreciate the time with you. You're inspiring, Dr. V.
Oh, you inspire me back. You inspire me back. Well, thank you for all that you do to help us be better humans at work and beyond. I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to speak with our audience.